and stuff.
Yeah, we were trying to think, because I think the rationale behind having them kind of like possess the vehicles and then, you know, when they combine, they're all one spirit, was we were trying to, what was the rationale? Like, it would be too hard on the human body to pilot a robot that large.
Well, that's one of the things that I remember talking to James about was that right now a lot of the anime shows and stuff like that, it's something that really bothered me, that they tend to use little kids to operate these vehicles. And I think we got in a conversation, and I said, James, I said, let's think about this. Now, would we let a little kid, would we allow a little kid to operate a jet?
Yeah.
What about an MBTA bus? What about a rocket ship? So it doesn't make sense to me. So the thing is that I said, they'll probably do a lot of harm. So let's make these people a little bit more older, and then let's also think of the idea of maybe, because of the dangers of being inside something like this vehicle, that they most likely could get killed, that instead you use your own spirit to operate it just to protect you. So that's that scene actually right there.
So there's also a lot of psychic kind of backlash. So there's a lot of, our main character, our main pilot here, Jin, he was the first one to bond with the robot. So he's been having these kind of nightmares. So this scene here is based off of Goya's painting, Jupiter Devoured.
Yes.
Or Saturn Devours his son. Jupiter, Saturn devours his son. And this is the actual spirit of the robot devouring each of the original pilots.
So giving the idea that eventually they will get devoured.
Yeah.
we were
thinking of it like kind of like the One Ring, like the more you pilot it, the more it's going to affect the main pilot in a negative way.
And one of the things about the style was, because I mean, you know, my style sort of goes all over the place, and sometimes I can, you know, I've done work for RPG magazines, and RPGs like, you know, role-playing game magazines, detailed fantasy stuff, but I knew that I wanted to give an almost fun, animatable kind of style to this, so that I wouldn't get locked down to a lot of realistic stuff. So I chose this kind of style where it's definitely very animated sort of look to it.
And to that point too, let's see if I can find which chapter the combination is in. So one of the things we always used to like about the old shows like Voltron or Force 5 is that whenever the robots would combine, it would be the same animation sequence over and over again. So one of the things we wanted to kind of come across a little bit, and a little bit I actually use that quite a bit in Volume 2 that I sent you the scripts for, is reusing that combination sequence. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh my God, the panels.
Oh, they're great. Come on.
I love it, but it's insane. I can't even believe I do this stuff.
Oh, this is one.
Oh, there you go. There's a combination.
Okay, so here is.
And that was Ex Machina.
Yep.
Yeah, we had to come up with some kind of battle cry. So you came up with that, right? You came up with the Deus Ex Machina?
Did I? Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
we're trying to think of like something that they could
shout out or something. Yeah. But of course, you got the bird. You got the bird ship, and then you got the
tank.
The tank, the sort of tank that's the leg unit, and then you have the centerpiece, which is we call the sea serpent.
Yeah. Yeah, Skybird,
Earth Cat, and Sea Serpent. And then they combine the final god combination.
Yeah.
Robot God Akamatsu. It just amazes me that you do all this work and it comes down to just 15 pages.
I know.
It's just like it's weird. It's just like a movie. You know, you look at a movie and it's like an hour of work, but it's like all that work that goes into it.
Well, we also had one. So I think it was the first Rhode Island Comic Con we did. Oh, if I can find it.
Well, I love that we can able to do a search.
Yeah,
yeah, you do a search for Robot God Akamatsu and all this stuff comes up. But so
somebody did.
Connie.
Connie did. She built a costume of the robot.
Yep.
I don't know if I'll be able to find it now.
Does it come up in images? If you did image. Oh, there you go. Maybe. Yeah, that's her. The DeviantArt.
I just want to do Google Images and have something sketchy appear on the
No. I think she's pretty good. She and actually I reached out to her. I was thinking about getting a head from her.
They live in they moved up to Salem now.
No way.
Yeah.
I thought she was still in Connecticut.
No, she lives in Salem.
Oh wow. All right. Wow. Oh, that's just
this is a drawing she did. Yeah.
I don't know if she has the actual. She must have it on her.
It was funny. She was just one of those people that just kind of fell in love with our robot. Yeah. Anybody want to get some sushi while here?
Let's see. Let's see what else she got. Well, that's some of her suits right
so
there. So let's see. But again, it's such flattery. Like that's one of her suits. She did one of the characters right there. But it's just that's like the ultimate flattery. You literally go to a con and you see somebody dressed in, your character.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe.
I couldn't believe too. It was unbelievable. Yeah, look at that stuff.
There
you go. There you go. That's her.
Yeah.
Oh, there she goes.
She worked at Sikorsky Aircraft.
Oh yeah, that's so she's not working anymore.
No, not anymore. So I think that's how she got the know-how to fabricate all these parts.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I just contacted her because I want to buy the helmet. I was like, I just want to get the
I
helmet.
don't think she's gonna let that go.
Actually, she is. She's thinking about it. Yeah.
Oh, right,
so
right.
we're gonna see if we can work something after the holidays. I said the holidays are coming up, but she did a fantastic job. I mean, she came. We took pictures with her.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just it was weird. It was just like, and then at that point, we also did Rhode Island Comic Con where they had Robot Akamatsu as the main.
Right.
The main figure. So you walk through Providence Mall, and then Robot Akamatsu was everywhere.
Yep.
So it was really it was just surreal. And then she comes in and she's like, "Hey, how you doing?" And we're like,
It's like
"Oh
all
my
this
God."
sort of free. Well, we did a lot of work on the banners and stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's kind of free advertising.
Oh, I mean, it's flattery, man. I don't even know what to say to that.
All right, here we go. Images. Sorry.
So this is a lot of the images, like if you Google Akamatsu. Actually, this I got that print right over there.
Yep, there was the cover. So yeah, this is kind of a good example.
Yeah.
Here's some of the original concept art that Frankie did. Here's another one. So there was at the same time there was another creative team doing Kill All Monsters.
Kill All Monsters.
And that was their kind of their own take on the super robot and giant
So I
monsters.
drew that image. I did that image. That's some other stuff that I put Robot Akamatsu in, and that's that's Akamatsu without suit. And some of your work right there.
Yeah.
Actually,
Here's the original. Yeah. So here's
Yeah,
the cover I did.
that's the cover you did.
Yeah. This is the cover for the version, iTunes. I think.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a sketch that I did. That actually, I think I gave that to. I think
Yeah,
somebody won that.
Yeah, somebody won that at Savannah.
Yeah, it was like that was featured in in Savannah, some newspaper
Savannah,
in Savannah, and I ended up giving it to the winner or whatever, the original artwork. It was part of the prize.
Oh look, somebody took a picture of something signed.
Oh yeah, I drew that little picture. Let's go. I was probably thanking him for the support. Yeah.
Yeah, so here's let's see if I can find this. Remember this series? So
Yes.
there's an artist who does the series called Giants, and there are all these pictures of giant robots, obviously.
He did one
He did one for
for
us, but he does a lot of. This is the lion bot from that series we just mentioned,
Kill All Monsters,
which is now appearing in
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse Presents.
Yes.
So that's
So it shows you the change. It's like it's just amazing. It's But I love. But we're just I know I'm excited by the fact that the genre is doing so strong. Because that was the thing. It was like you get a little nervous and you go, man, we're trying to bring something back in a world full of superheroes.
Yeah.
And are people going to really like it?
Yeah.
And it's good because with Godzilla was a good showing, a good sign that the genre's not there, and Pacific Rim.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I remember at the time too, like when we started doing this, my son was just born, and I was thinking about, geez, I couldn't think of any like current anime shows that were on at that time that like I could really, share with him. We didn't have Force 5.
Yeah.
I couldn't even find Force 5 on DVD.
yeah,
So having that in the back of my mind that I wanted to have something that he could see.
Yeah.
We even named one of the pilots after him.
that's right. Comic.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. It's a 3D image.
Oh, I don't remember that one. There. Some of these images are subject to copyright. With copyright?
I know.
That's where I come up, but.
It must be on some page or something.
It's funny, like once in a while I'll find, I'll just do a search like Robot God Akamatsu reviews and kind of turn up once in a while so they can get a hold of us.
Well, I think that's the thing that's kind of blown my mind because every now and then I still get emails asking about Akamatsu, and me and James have been sort of talking. Oh, that's a good shot. That's pretty intense, huh? That's how crazy I get.
So yeah, well, you can see, the Kirby influence here too.
Yeah, I love a lot of the old school. A lot of people come to me and they go, "You do retro work," and I'm like, "Yeah, that to me is like a metal."
Yeah.
I grew up a child in the '70s and in the '80s, and to me, a lot of my heroes were the illustrators or artists of that time period, and they did artwork that was powerful, bold. One of the things about it, when people talk about my prints, they go, even at we were at Rhode Island Comic-Con, and they walk by my table and they go, "Oh my God, the colors are so vibrant, and, what's going on here?" And then drawn in and stuff. And I'm like, that's what I grew up with. Comic books were powerful. You put them on a stand and you were locked into those colors, and then you said, okay, now I want to read it. So, but anyway, we've been really, a lot of people occasionally have been asking us what's going on with Akamatsu, and me and James have finally, slowly have gotten the wheel turning for Volume 2. Yeah. And again, as any process, we're at the stage where he's already written 5 books.
Yeah, 5 chapters.
5 chapters.
Yep.
And now it's just a process. I have to start working on character design. Yeah. So it is happening.
Well, you have a lot of heavy lifting to do.
Yeah.
And that term, I can give you little descriptions of like, hey, I think this guy. Like I always remember the first description I gave you was for Akamatsu himself. I'm like, remember James Earl Jones from Conan?
And that helped.
Yeah.
That helped because I started looking.
That's what I think of.
But see, that's again like a team. When you're working with a team, it's like, again, little things like that, like little suggestions like that, go a long way. Like again, I don't know how you would have looked.
Yeah.
If you hadn't suggested the fact that James Earl Jones, because then I looked it up and I remember watching Conan and it was like that, and I sat there and I saw how
he was an Atlantean too in that movie.
Yeah, he was an Atlantean, that's right. And I remember looking at how he looked and his hair was long, and I said, okay. And I said, okay, I like that and stuff. And then I started working, and that's how I was able to build up.
Yeah, I think for his brother Uru, I think you suggested him look like David Bowie.
David Bowie, that's my hero. And so almost of a rock star kind of, but definitely somebody who he could be very dangerous if you came down to it. So.
So let's see, we've got the 5 chapters are in the can. Well, are in your hands now.
Yeah.
I'll give you some descriptions coming up, and then once I'm finished with a couple of the other projects I'm on, I might just start doing some more covers.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's a good thing about it. I mean, let's flash forward to now. We've both been really busy right now. We've I've been working a lot of video trading cards and stuff like that, and just various other projects. It's getting into working with authors. That's been a big thing for me now. We're doing covers for authors and toy design. So I'm really excited about that. And as well as getting back into some comic book stuff. And then James has been doing covers for IDW, which is one of the, I would consider now a major comic
I would probably say they're the 4th publisher.
So
it's DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, and I think IDW.
They do Transformers, they do
Judge Dredd.
And you've done Judge Dredd covers and stuff like that. So what's great about it is that while Akamatsu has been sort of percolating, Volume 1 percolating out there, we've been constantly building up who we are in the fandom. And so hopefully by the time when Volume 2 is out, then we're hoping our fan base will be like, okay,
Well, it's funny though, like thinking about like when we started putting these out online, I never would have thought 3 years from then, like I'd be doing, covers for the Transformers, which has been my big thing, my big fandom since I was a little kid. Transformers, I remember originally were kind of my gateway drug into comics, so to speak. Reading the original Marvel comics,
Well, I didn't know I was going to be doing trading cards. And doing stuff with BotCon. And stuff like that. And I mean, again, it was just, it's weird how things can just come into your lap, and then whether or not you step up and make it happen. And that's what we both have done. We've stepped up and we made it happen. And I think that Volume 2 is going to be, in my mind, I'm always looking to go better. I love Volume 1, but in my mind, I want to make it so much better.
Exactly. Well, that's true with with everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Do we do questions, or does anyone have
questions? Awkward high fives.
I like the fact that you destroyed Ruby Street, Beacon Hill. Symbolize.
And Silverline, yeah.
Yes.
We had, and the old agency we worked for, Digitas.
Yes, Digitas. Yeah, well, you know, Newbury, in my head I was thinking, I said, we need to have something in there that, locations that people will immediately key onto. And Newbury Street's just, everyone knows a Newbury
Yeah.
Street and stuff.
And also the first kaiju attack in the book came from New Bedford, which...
That's where I was living at the time, yeah.
That was where you were living at the time, also has the Moby Dick.
Yeah, Moby Dick.
Yeah.
We based our first kaiju, Leviathan,
Yeah, after the whale.
off of a whale. Because I sat there and I said, yeah, whale, and let's see. You know, and I love Moby Dick. And actually, I'm jumping all over the place, but I know there's a Moby Dick movie that's supposed to have come out.
Essex.
Is it
Tragedy
still,
of the
it's still
Whale
coming
Channel.
out?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It looked,
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
looks great.
it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember reading those stories and stuff, and living in New Bedford, you know, you talk about Moby Dick and stuff like that. So I wanted that scene. When I used to live there, I'll go down there, I'm like, I can see a monster coming out this water. And just Fairhaven's in the background and just like trembling, right? And that's what happens. A Leviathan comes up, trammels through New Bedford and heads. And I think I put a sign up, like 50 miles or whatever, to Boston.
Yeah.
You know, just on its path of destruction all the way through everything. So,
Yeah, we figured how long would it take him?
well, I used to take the bus up from New Bedford, so 50 miles, so it'd be like a traveling monster giant kaiju.
350 feet tall.
Yeah, it took the bus around an hour to 12 minutes. And you know, you start thinking of crazy stuff, so it's like,
How long would it really
it'd
take?
probably be like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we tried to sneak the credential in there, but we altered the name a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we kept going back, we were like, we don't want to
the Simcoe
sue.
sign at the...
Oh, the Simcoe,
yeah.
Well, I had the Simcoe sign in the cover. We had an alternate cover.
That's right. That was going to be for the Osaki.
Yeah, it was gonna be for that, and I said, dude, we gotta put the Simcoe sign in it, so we altered it a little bit, but we never got around to putting it
Yeah.
in and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely, we wanted to, you know, we're New England guys and stuff, and we
Yeah.
wanted to give some respect to where we grew up and stuff, you know.
By destroying it.
Yes,
Completely.
yes. Well, that's the best part about Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
That's always like
Yeah, so they
Tokyo
always
gets
make to
trashed
rebuild
and
it,
they rebuild it back there, and it kind of ends on that note.
Yeah, it does. So,
New stuff.
I mean, if you, no spoilers here, but if anybody gets to the final issue of RG.
Is it on here? I don't think we have to find out.
No,
No,
we
after we got the
it's
publisher,
around
we
this
stopped putting any free stuff up. Hey, we gotta kill that stuff, guys. We gotta make some money.
Yeah, but still, though, you said a lot of people would read this first and then pick up the graphic.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
A
So,
couple of people posted that on Amazon.
yeah.
So the opening panel you see in chapter 1 is also mirrored in the last panel of
Yeah.
chapter. We'll read chapter 6, and it's Boston.
But it's so cool because we was thinking about ideas of the islands, and I was thinking of like Cape Cod and what the devastating effects would be, and you know, it's just that's the fun part. You know, I mean, we literally breaking out areas. Like I remember getting maps of like from the top view of like from here out there, Boston Harbor, and like trying to figure out how the battle scenes would be. I mean, you really got to think about it. Like in my head, again, I see things as movies.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I was like, yeah, we're standing right here. You see this giant creature. Then I think there's a scene in some of the later issues where Leviathan comes in and it's right down at the wharf.
Yeah.
And these two guys are sitting in a car.
The cops.
And all of a sudden they look over, the two cops, and they look over and they just see this wave. It's a classic Godzilla scene.
Yeah.
A massive wave comes up and then it's just and they're just like, oh my God. And I think I put the Lobster House. What's that famous house?
Yeah,
by the wharf?
the hooks.
The hooks, yeah.
Yeah.
So I tweaked it around a little bit, but you kind of know that's what the place is.
Yeah, I think the cops. The last frame is the cop upside down in the car going, I think I have to call this in.
Yeah, you know, little fun stuff like that. So,
Can we tell them anything about Volume 2?
well, I
Not
mean,
really saying anything?
not yet. Go ahead.
We have a monster island.
Yes, we talked about having a sort of monster island because after the devastation,
Yeah.
Boston is totally different now. It's
It's a clutch of islands.
It's a clutch of islands. Because I remember even growing up, I grew up in Jamaica Plain. I used to walk down, walking city. So Beacon Hill, I always looked at Beacon Hill and I said, I think isn't Beacon Hill's like the only solid rock because the rest of Boston is pretty much filling,
Yeah.
landfill. So if you really think about it, if something massive came in, most likely down the Boston's gone.
It
I
did not,
mean, really.
yeah.
So that's what we kind of went off that idea that in this new volume, Boston is islands now. It's connected by these bridges, sort of held together. And still, it's technologically advanced.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty much, it looks really cool. I mean, but just bridges, and people have their own little islands and stuff like that. But then way off, I guess, past where Martha's Vineyard, would it be where Martha's Vineyard?
I think we said past the Cape.
They passed the Cape, that's where the new Monster Island is and stuff like that, so you get a sense of distance and stuff. But
so there's one kind of,
yeah.
before I give too much away, there's one law that says they can't kill any of the kaiju that attack Boston. There's there's a preserve.
Yeah.
So they have to incapacitate and then they bring them to this island, so, and that obviously has problems. So I think we were playing at the Kaiju Hilton.
Yeah.
You sort of touched on something I have a question for.
Sure.
About putting things online for free
Mm-hmm.
versus sales, because Neil Gaiman has said that piracy drives sales.
Yeah.
So, have you found that it's been better for you to give things away free in order to make sales?
We think, well, so after the first publisher kind of disappeared on us, we decided, I think why don't we, release it online, chapters online.
Sure.
So by then we had 3 complete issues, written and lettered. So like, why don't we, carve them up into maybe 6 to 12 page chapters and release them once a month.
Yeah.
And luckily that did us right up to when we were picked up by Zeta Bella. And then by that point we already had sort of a fan base through Facebook and also reading, the chapters online each month.
I think that part of guerrilla marketing, and I don't know if you guys live here and stuff like that, but do you remember when that kid, remember there was a point but did it happen in Cambridge? Remember that guy kept posting stuff around and people thought it was a bomb threat?
Oh yeah.
You remember that guy?
Yeah, it was from the Adult Swim.
Was it Adult Swim?
The little, like, look like a little light bright character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he was going all over the place posting. That's guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
And what he was doing was he was trying to get this effect. He was trying, and it worked.
Yeah.
Because all the major, news places and stuff, that guy got media coverage like you can never believe that you couldn't afford.
Yeah.
And so our mindset was like, we don't have the money for massive marketing. We can't plaster all over the place. Our fan base, they don't know who we are. So in some degree, to be able to get your stuff out there, you may have to put something out there. You have to give something. So that at least if you can hook people to it, then you can say, okay, now you're hooked. Now I can start supplying you with other stuff, that hopefully you will pay for. It is a gamble. You don't know. It's a huge gamble chance. But what else are you doing? You're coming from, you got nothing. So you got to take the chance. So guerrilla. I've always been a fan. I remember when they used to have the person going around. I know it happened. I saw a lot in Boston, just down Newbury Street too. Obey.
Oh yeah.
With Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
There used to be a person just plastering things, and it created this whole weird thing. People were like, who's this person doing this? Well, that's guerrilla marketing. It meant something. It meant like it got people talking, and so I would say that helped us a lot.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. The last Comic-Con here in Boston, there were practically no freebies. And there's always been, cons, there's always freebie tables, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you learn about some of, wow, there's something really great here. I didn't see this booth while I was here, but I picked up this freebie, and I'm going to go home and look it up online. I'm going to find more, and I'm going to order this.
Sure.
There were no freebie tables anymore.
Yeah, that's
the best thing coming home with the bag of all the.
I agree. Well, I think that because after Rhode Island Comic Con, like we had a great time. I was there with my girlfriend Jessica, and Jessica's actually an author. I'll just do a little pitch for her too as well. I've worked on her covers, and she's we're both from Rhode Island, and I'm a new transplant, and she's there. But anyway, she was an author there as well, so we both got tables and stuff, and there's people who come from my stuff, but again, she has freebie stuff that she gives out to people to sort of, to pull them in, and that's what's happening. People sort of buy her books, they go on Amazon, they order her books and stuff like that. You have to be able to offer something to people, because you're coming from nowhere. People don't know who you are. We always talk we love Stephen King. And we try to imagine what he, I've read some of the stuff back in the day, how he put stuff up, people just shot him down and whatever. And that's what it is. You just got to keep putting things out there and stuff and take that gamble. You have to. I don't know how anyone can unless they got some serious backing. Unless you got the money to back it up.
I always feel like too, like the one thing, everybody who's ever been a fan of comics, they're always like, I can draw the perfect story. I can write the perfect story.
Of course, oh yeah.
And a lot of times, like it's always like the big talk. Everybody always talks out at dinner. Let's do this comic or let's do that, and then sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But luckily Frankie and I kept kind of, well, how's the script coming? How's
Yeah.
this coming? We kept kind of
The commitment.
like we
Yes.
want to do it, and then finally, I think we had a colorist at one point, and then we're like,
Yeah.
let's just pare it down,
Exactly.
just us.
Well, that's the thing. I think that when you look at anything, comic books, book, just writing a book or film, it's a commitment. It's about literally how passionate are you to make this thing happen. And if you're, if you're really passionate, it will happen.
Yeah.
It may take some time, but that's okay. I think that we both have reached the point now where we're like, we want to put out something solid. That's in the back of my head. That's all I care about. I want something solid. I want something proud. Not proud, but something that I can look at and be proud that people are reading. Sometimes I remember seeing some stuff that other people have put out, and again, I'm all for, you go, yeah, I'm glad that someone's done it, but then I see if they've rushed through it or whatever, because they then you sit there and you go, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to just rush through something and just hand it and go, yeah, give me $50 for it, and pat yourself on the back, knowing that you didn't give all. I want to feel like I give, and I think we did. We gave 200%.
Yeah.
And then for the new one, 400%.
Oh, 400.
Oh, 400. Come on.
Well, 100
Even
for
though,
me.
yeah, there you go.
300, yeah.
Cajun size.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know. Is there any other questions about robots or monsters or anything you guys can?
No? Word high five?
Yay.
And you do have the book for sale
Mhm.
over here?
I have some copies right there. Definitely will sign them up for you.
Are you going to destroy Rhode Island next?
I don't know. Did
No, I don't
we?
think I mentioned it.
We didn't take. I don't.
It's
Well,
a lot more fun to destroy Boston,
I think
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
little. I know. Yeah.
That's so easy.
That's one of the things I'm getting used to with Rhode Island. It's so small. It's such a tiny state.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to all the dead ends.
Yeah.
Remember that? I was like driving and like, because in my head I'm like, if I go down that street, it should be an adjacent street. It's like, no, it's a dead end. A lot of exits. What time is it anyway?